Board of Education to order on Monday, April 20, 2020. And we will be live streaming this meeting tonight via Google Meet as well as YouTube. And I would just start by thanking our tech team at Bryan City Schools as well as BMU for facilitating our meeting tonight. We will dispense with the pledge to the flag. Kevin, if you would call roll.
Scott.
Here.
Ben.
Here.
Deb.
Here.
Dustin.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
Thank you.
Board members, you've received the minutes from the March regular meeting. Were there any questions or corrections from that? Hearing none, I would accept a motion.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you.
Scott.
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is public participation. I was not made aware of any prior to the meeting, but if we need to pause a bit for any call-ins. Is there a length of time we should actually wait for this?
We did not have anyone register for comment, which is a requirement, so we can move on.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Next item is communications, and I believe we have a report from Fort County.
Yes, Deb, I can give that. This is from Cindra Keeler, our Fort County Board Representative. She states that Fort County Career Center, much like all schools, is adjusting to the new norm. As of April 13th, assignments had been given to students, and these assignments were mandatory to complete. Third quarter grades will stand as they were submitted in March. Fourth quarter and second semester grades will be converted to a pass-fail basis. The method of delivery that they're using, Google Classroom, Zoom, Canvas, is up to the instructor's discretion. Instructors must be made available to answer student questions via email or other forms of communication on a regular basis. College Credit Plus classes will not fall under this policy and will continue on with grading scale prior to the closure. And finally, as Mr. Meister said to his staff, during these extraordinary times, we have an extraordinary staff. So thank you to Cindra Keeler for providing that report.
And thank you, Diana, for sharing that. Next item on the agenda is Treasurer's Report and recommendations. Kevin?
Thank you. We'll begin with the cash reconciliation for March 2020 at Farmers and Merchants, $5,931,663.11. Outstanding checks and total adjustments of $42,393.22. In investments at Star Ohio, $435,936.85. Star Ohio Plus, $2,499,752.35. State Bank, $6,473,926.72. UBS Financial, $4,375,445.07 for total investments of $13,785,060.99. Petty cash in the amount of $4,500, change funds in the amount of $2,650 for a total fund balance on hand $19,681,480.88. In addition to that, the monthly financial reports are in your drive for you to review. And if there's any questions about any of those reports, I'd be glad to answer them. Okay, moving on, thought we'd talk a little bit about what we expect to happen in the way of revenues changes coming from the stay-at-home order and how that may affect us going forward. The good news is that we don't expect to see a lot of effect, at least right away. The biggest place that we expect to see some effect is in our income tax. With people working a little bit less, there's obviously going to be less income tax that would come in, but that effect is going to be pushed out into the future because of the timing of collections. And we're not expecting to see a large effect there because most of the major employers in our district are continuing to operate pretty close to full capacity. And so we don't think there's going to be a huge effect there. Property taxes, we do expect to see maybe a somewhat rise in delinquencies of people not being able to necessarily make their payments on time. But again, we're not expecting to see a huge effect there as well. As far as state funding, our understanding is that the foundation payment, which is the majority of the funding from the state, is exempt from the state budget cut process, and so it should not, at least in the near term, be affected. The comparison has been made to the 2008 Great Recession, and what we saw there was mostly flat revenue for school districts. Normally, you can get a little bit of an increase over time, whereas they went flat for several years. So that is kind of what we're expecting at this point, is just a flat revenue stream for the near future. And I will update you if I see any changes to that coming through in the future, but that's what we're expecting at this time. Any questions on that?
Thank you, Kevin. And I just appreciate the fact that you're going to keep a close watch on all that, as we really aren't sure what impact could be there in the future. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So moving on to my recommendations, the first recommendation I have for you is modified appropriations for the fiscal 2020 year. Again, we're continuing the process of modifying the appropriations down to actual expenditures as we wrap up the fiscal year on June 30th. So we are making a decrease in appropriations to the general fund of $97,239.07 and an increase to the principal's funds of $850, and that is the modified appropriations for this month. Additionally, we have as an addendum to the agenda, sorry, go ahead, Dustin.
Question, can you explain that to me? Because I don't understand that, sorry.
No, that's fine. The biggest change that we had in the appropriations this year is the removal of a contingency fund, which with the schools not physically in operation, we don't expect any significant contingencies between now and the end of the fiscal year.
Thank you.
No problem. So as an addendum to the agenda, we're bringing to you an agreement between Bryan City Schools and the Northwest Ohio Education Service Center. This is the annual contract that we have with the ESC to help assist in the various special education departments. We do this contract every year. They run the programs and then divvy up the cost amongst all of the schools that participate on a student by student basis. So this is the contract for this year. Finally, we want to recognize some generous donations. We've received $250 from the Dean and Mary Grove for the Dowley Summer Music Scholarship and 48 copies of Fins, Sharks, Inc. from the author Randy Wayne White and the Williams County Public Library. We thank them for their contributions.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Are there any other questions for Kevin? Hearing none, I would accept a motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
I'm sorry, I missed who made the motion.
Second.
Scott did. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Ben.
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
Dustin.
Yes.
Mike.
Yes.
Scott.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is old business, if there's any.
None that I'm aware of.
Hearing none, we'll move to new business.
So we do have some new business, and I'm going to capture the screen for a moment and present with my fingers crossed here. So what you should be seeing, hopefully, is the proposed 2020-2021 school calendar. Can you see that?
Yes.
Perfect. So we were working through negotiations in the month of March, and as part of that negotiations, we worked on some school calendar and calamity day issues. One of the main problems that we were trying to solve together as a team was the fact that any weather-related makeup days were always put at the end of the school year, which became a real problem for students, for families, and for staff alike. So we had some really good discussions about what goals were we trying to accomplish with our school calendar, which was to provide the best education possible given the time frame of state testing, which normally happens in April and May. We also wanted to be cognizant of family time that was being lost through just various reasons, extracurriculars, school holidays, and those types of events and conflicts. And so what we came up with the cooperation of both our teachers union and our classified union, is a little bit different way to look at the school year and a little bit different way to look at our school calendar. So I wanted just to share some highlights and also announce that this is nothing we're going to vote on tonight. This is our proposal, again, with input from both unions. And according to law, this will be public for 30 days. And so this will be a recommendation that I will bring back in May that the board can then vote on and finalize. When you're looking at the school calendar, the blue days represent days that students will not be in session. However, teachers and aides and other staff will be. These days will be used to prep for the new school year. They'll be used for training purposes. They'll be used for professional development, speakers, conferences. They'll be used for days that right now we utilize substitutes. So another big accomplishment with this calendar is we're going to reduce the number of substitutes that are needed for various teacher meetings or teacher professional developments throughout the school year. We did keep the yellow is your school vacation time when the schools will essentially be closed during the day. So there is still a fair day, there's still a Thanksgiving break, there's still a 2-week Christmas break, and there's still 1 week of a spring break in March, as well as some holidays such as Good Friday, President's Day, and Labor Day mixed in there. This calendar has students starting on August 19th of 2020 and finishing the Thursday, I believe Memorial Day on this calendar is on the 24th. Let me double check that. I could be off by a week, but it ends right around Memorial Day again and gives students and families all of June and all of July to focus on things other than school. The other benefit with this calendar that there are no calamity days, there are no contingency days at the end of the year. If we have to close due to fog or due to snow, we will make those decisions on a case-by-case basis. But that time will not be made up unless we would get in a situation where we would not be facilitating the number of required hours for a school year according to the State Department and according to law. So again, we accomplished a lot of things with this calendar. We're going to put this calendar as well as we've developed the calendars for 2021-22 and 2022-23. So we're going to have 3 years worth of calendars that we're going to publish available on our school website and social media for parents to take a look at. this Thursday night, I'm going to host a Facebook Live session, and the school calendar will be a topic of discussion there so that we can get information out to parents. And again, if you have questions regarding the school calendar proposal, again, this is not something we're going to vote on tonight. This is just a proposal. But are there any questions from board members about the school calendar?
Yeah, did you, Diana, did you say that Memorial Day was left off? Is that what you said?
Memorial Day is not marked. I need to confirm where it is.
Okay, okay.
It's either the 24th or the 31st. It's just, my guess is now that I look at it, my guess is it's the 31st because we're out of school before Memorial Day.
That makes sense. Then you wouldn't have to mark it if you're out of school. Yeah.
Correct.
All right.
But we will double check.
It is in fact the 31st next year.
All right. Thank you, Kevin.
Solves that. Thanks.
Deb or Scott, you were part of our negotiation teams. Any comments you'd like to make on the creation or thought process that went into this calendar?
My only comment is all positive. I think we had good feedback from the teacher side, and they were very positive and in favor of the work that you put into this. And I think it's nice that we can put this out for the next 3 years so that everybody can plan ahead.
I agree with all that, Scott, and the fact that we were able to be very mindful of where we want that time on task to be prior to all the testing in April and May. And I really feel that this accomplishes a lot of that. So I was appreciative.
We lost you for a minute there, Deb, but I think we have you back.
Do we have her?
Do we have Deb? We'll pause for a minute just to make sure she can get back in. Are you back?
There she is.
You're on mute now, though, Deb.
I'm back.
There we go. We waited. Can you restate your comment one more time?
Sure. I just second what Scott said and just really appreciated the fact that we were able to be mindful of where that testing falls and that we really want our students to be having that time on task with their instructors, teachers, prior to all that testing. So by being able to look at those days being made up, not tacked on at the end, but being addressed as we move forward through the year is, in my opinion, huge for what we want to accomplish for Bryan schools.
Right.
All right. Thank you, Diana. Next on the agenda, I see our recommendations from our superintendent.
Yeah, so tonight's recommendations, as we mentioned, we've finalized negotiations, and so I'm asking you to approve the proposal of the HSA contract, which covers our classified staff for the years 2020 to 2023. We have an MOU with the certified, which the teachers union, regarding evaluations. So in this COVID pandemic that we're experiencing, we worked with our teachers union to come up with a way that we can finalize 100% of the teacher evaluations for this school year. It's going to take a little bit of creativity and a little bit of work, but we are confident that we're going to be able to move forward and be able to finalize all of those evaluations. Also, a part of that is the state is implementing a new teacher evaluation system, which we will, with the state's guidance, we will push back to 21-22. That will give us just some time to make sure that we're prepared and have the correct professional development completed before we move into that new cycle. So again, I cannot say enough about the cooperation and collaboration with our union leaders to make sure that they were looking out for the best interest of our students and our school district. And so I'm recommending that the board approve this MOU tonight. I will, on a side note, mention that normally the The union will approve these first, but given that we are not allowed to have mass gatherings, they will and have agreed to approve it in retrospect. So we're going to move forward so that we can finish up those evaluations this year. I also am proposing approval of an MOU for our school resource officer. This is our agreement with the City of Bryan and the Bryan Police Department. We employ 2 school resource officers through the school system, and Bryan City Police Department and the City of Bryan graciously employs a 3rd SRO officer for use on our campus, as well as Fountain City and St. Pat's. We are very excited to be able to renew this agreement for another 3 years. It's been a huge benefit to the safety and well-being of our students. And they've made sure that our students feel safe, secure, but also establish some relationships and let the students help mentor the students as they go through their day. So I would ask for your approval of that MOU. And then we do have I feel like it's a little late, but we have our 2nd quarter high school All-A honor roll, and that exhibit is there for you as well. So any questions on those recommendations?
I have a quick question on the resource officers.
Yes.
What are they doing at this time? Are they going back to the city to help there in this time, or what are they doing?
So the officer that the city employs, yes, has been transferred back to their department and is working for them on a daily basis. The 2 resource officers that we employ are considered to be reserves and could be utilized by the city if needed for additional service to the city. So they are aware of that. In the meantime, they have been helping us with things like Chromebook distribution, lunch distribution, paper packet pickups at the elementary. And as we move forward, and we'll talk about it in a little bit, some other items that we'll have going on in our campus.
Okay, I hadn't heard yet, so thank you.
Yep, no problem.
If there's nothing else, I would accept a motion to approve the superintendent's recommendations.
So moved.
I'll
Thank
second.
you. Dustin? All right. And we'll move on to...
We need to take a vote, Deb.
Please do.
Deb?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Mike?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Thank you.
And now we'll move on to personnel recommendations.
Okay, so under personnel recommendations, we have the transfer of certified staff, which will be effective for the 2020-21 school year. Stephanie Rufer will be moving to a 3rd grade general education teacher in ELA and social studies. Paige Gansmiller will be moving to a behavioral intervention specialist, and that's pending certification through Ohio. And Lindsay Slagle will transfer to 5th grade pullout and reading intervention specialist for next year. We'd like to offer a 1-year limited teaching contract for next school year to Chelsea Tappan. Chelsea comes to us from Michigan with 8 years of experience in music education, and she will be filling the vacancy created by Paige Miller, who is retiring at the end of this school year. Chelsea comes to us with a bachelor's degree, and again, that hire is pending licensure in Ohio, successful pass of her background, and we love the 8 years of experience, successful proof of that experience as well. Next, we'd like to involuntary transfer Callie Thiel, who is currently placed at St. Pat's, to Bryan City Schools' 3rd grade intervention specialist position. Again, that's an involuntary transfer. We'd like to approve the unpaid parenting leave request of Emily Nagy, and that will be for the entire 2020-21 school year. We have a retirement. We'd like to thank and congratulate Don Carroll, who is a bus driver with us. He will be retiring effective May 31st of 2020. And we also have a resignation. Jordan Waters, who was served as our junior high cheerleading coach, has moved out of the area and submitted her resignation. Questions on any of those personnel moves?
Not hearing any, I'll accept a motion to accept.
So moved.
Mike, okay. Add a second, please.
Second.
Kevin got that?
Yep, I gave that to Scott.
Okay.
Dustin,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Scott,
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Deb.
Yes.
Thank you.
And next on the agenda is points of information.
Yes, so I think I'm going to defer for a moment with your permission, Deb, because I think that some of my information, I may steal material from our administrators who are joining us. So why don't we let them report first on, we're going to focus tonight on our response to the COVID pandemic and give the board and the community an update on where we are as of today, April 20th. And we'll start with our athletic director, Chad Savage.
Okay, thank you. With our governor's announcement today, spring sports are canceled. The no contact period will extend through May 3rd. There was a survey from the OHSAA last week to all of the secondary school administrators, and 94% as of this afternoon had voted to extend that no contact period through June 1st or to June 1st. We expect to receive additional guidelines from the OHSAA for what is allowed in June and July if the restrictions are lessened. There is a meeting this Thursday with representatives from the state superintendent, the governor, and the OHSAA, and they're meeting primarily with the concerns that some non-school programs may put our students at risk. Those are programs like travel ball and AAU, and they're meeting to try to get a grip on that before it could potentially get out of hand when restrictions are lifted. We should have an update. I think they're meeting on Thursday at some point, so we should have an update from Jerry Snodgrass, the executive director of the OHSAA, after that meeting, hopefully on Friday. For us, we expect to have a positive in May where we're hoping to put together a virtual signing day. We have at least 5 more student athletes that are going to sign to participate in the sport in college. And we're hoping to recognize them. A tentative date is May 7th in the evening. We'll recognize them with their family and anyone that we can get online in a format very similar to this. At this point, we are going to proceed to cancel our spring sports, all of the games and activities, and we're looking to finalize the 2020 schedule. Tonight, we're trying to do something along with our other league schools, NWAL, as well as Northwest Ohio schools, and we're going to shine a light out for our seniors, where we're going to turn the lights on our football field, our softball field, our baseball field, and at our soccer field at approximately 8:20 p.m. And that signifies in military time 2020, which would be the graduating class of 2020. And the lights will be on for 20 minutes. And we're just hoping that the community shines a light as well with their porch lights. And we just, again, are just thinking about our seniors and what they've meant to our community and our schools for the last 12, 13 years. And we're just trying to send them off with a positive tonight. And again, this is something that started in another state, and it's really extended into Ohio. And Northwest Ohio is really showing their stuff tonight. So that's what I have right now. I will take questions about anything related to the activities being shut down or anything else that we talked about tonight.
Hey, Chad, the question I have is for the no contact period that will run pretty much up until the beginning of football season then? Is that how that works, or can you explain that?
Right now it's through May 3rd. Now I really expect them to extend that to June 1st, and then the OHSAA will give us some guidelines for June and July. Typically our coaches have 10 days or some time in June and July that they can have open gyms, travel leagues, things like that. If some of these restrictions are lessened and they're allowed to do some things, then I really think that they're going to be very specific with what our coaches are allowed to do with our student athletes. So I think we're going to wait to hear from the OHSAA and Sherry Snodgrass, and I really think we'll hear something by mid-May on what they're allowed to do if things are opened up a little bit.
Sure.
Chad, as we get closer to that potential signing day for May 7th, would you publicize that in a way that we can virtually be supportive of that for our athletes, please?
Oh, most definitely. We will post it. We're going to have all of the student athletes give us individuals that they would like to participate, and they'll receive an invitation similar to our board meeting. And we can invite all the board members to be a part of that, their coaches, their friends.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, I would just like to add on that no contact period, Dustin. One thing OHSAA is also looking for kind of a show of support in the use of school facilities. So Chad, can you clarify what OHSAA is a little concerned with school facility usage?
Well, again, they're concerned about not the individuals that are not showing social distancing. They just want to make sure that that we're on board with that. As long as we are able to back that up, then I think we're good to go with the way we have things right now. That is with our track open to the public and our tennis courts open. But other than that, everything else is shut down just so we don't give those opportunities out there for coaches and other individuals to be a part of that. Again, we're not sure what's going to happen with the summer activities at this point, but I really think that chances are slim that we'll have some of those activities. So is that what you want me to talk about?
Yeah, I think just as an example, if the state clears AAU to begin practicing, but they're not practicing appropriate safety precautions, then they're looking to school boards to support that your facilities would not be able to be used. Correct. For
Exactly. For AAU, same thing with like the parks for travel ball, AAU basketball, some of the travel volleyball, things like that we have no control over as OHSAA. They don't control like the travel volleyball, the AAU, the baseball, softball, things like that, basketball leagues. So if we're shut down, they will not have use of those facilities, obviously. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yep, thank you. Okay, Mr. Bassett.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. It's quiet in my house for a second, so hopefully I can get through this. So on the curriculum front, we went ahead and we were supposed to be adopting K-5 English language arts this school year. We were all set. In fact, this week we're supposed to have some presenters in, really dig into their presentations, their books. So obviously that's not going to happen. So we went ahead and made the decision we're going to postpone that to the fall and just kind of pick the process up where we were at. We're not going to start all over again. We've narrowed it down to 3 programs that we're really interested in, and we can't see our interest changing over the summer. So we'll go ahead with those in the fall and proceed as planned there. Most of the testing, usually I'm talking about testing. All the testing is for the state, obviously has been canceled. They are still doing essay format. They'll take them about a half hour. So drastically reduced in the amount of time. So we got that information out to our students and they're able to select whether to proceed with their examinations or ask for a refund. On the lunch front, we are handing out lunches. We've been the past couple weeks handing out lunches Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This week we changed to a Monday, Thursday format. One last time that people have to come. The parents have to come. Again, we're behind the elementary. It's curbside. We have some volunteers from the cafeteria, some ladies that graciously come in. Everything is prepackaged. We have them packaged up for them. Parents can pull up, give us their child's name, and we put some lunches in their vehicle with some milk too for the week. So today they were able to come and get lunch for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And we'll be back Thursday. On Thursday, the last day of the week, our school social workers join us. They're able to hand out some bear bags, so help with some food for the weekend if families are in need. They can also touch base with families at that time. We kind of coincide that with Chromebook repair pickup. Amber Fransdorf will come in and leave me some Chromebooks, and parents will drop Chromebooks off and say, this needs fixed, and we just make sure their name's on it, and we can get them a loaner. So we kind of doing double duty there with that. We're averaging about 50 to 60 lunches a day that we served as kids, which is good. We've had a high of 90. When the weather was really nice one day, we had people were, I don't know, looking for a reason to get out. We served, I think, 93 lunches that day. Last week, with the weather being not as nice, we were a little bit lower, but we're right around 50 to 60 students that are picking up lunches every day. So any questions you guys have for me?
Okay, Karen. We love you.
Well, I have a list of things to talk about, but I wanted to start off. Who would have thought that we would be where we are today, right now? Our teachers have really stepped up and done an incredible job. Some teachers who are not used to going on camera or are going on camera, they're utilizing technology. They're truly doing the best that they can right now. So I'm truly grateful for all their hard work these last 5 weeks. Also wanted to thank our parents. It's not easy having your kids at home. We just want to make sure that we share with you that we're here. Our teachers are here. Please reach out to us, reach out to the teachers if we can help with the remote learning process. On Monday, April 13th, we held our packet pickup for those parents that wanted packet pickup. We're different from the high school because not all of our students have access to a computer or technology. So we did do a survey. We reached out to the majority of our parents, our teachers did, to find out what they would prefer, whether it be online or packet pickup. And so if you're doing the packet pickup, the next pickup that we will have will be Monday, May 4th, and we're going to stick with the same hours, 11 to 1 and 5 to 7. The remote learning packets, they are on the Bryan City Schools website. You go to the website, Bryan City Schools website, go to students, go to remote learning, click on the grade level, and the lessons are right there for the remote learning piece. You'll also find music, art, and PE. And what we're sharing with our parents is do the best you can given the times that we are in right now. Our teachers do have office hours. They have reached out to their parents. They are holding Google Hangout meets with their students and their parents. Our principals and I have been meeting with our staff on a weekly basis through Google Meets to make sure we are touching base and answering any questions that our staff would have. We have Mrs. Savage sent out a survey, and I'm sorry if you're going to talk about this.
No, go right ahead.
Mrs. Savage sent out a survey that gave us great feedback. We were able to analyze that data, share with our staff. And so when we have our pickup on May 4th, or even this goes with remote learning, we'll be able to improve our process. So we do thank the parents that filled out that survey, because we did look at that data, and we'll try to tweak some of our processes moving forward. I will also share that the shout outs, I know Mark's building had a lot. We had over 76 shout outs to our teachers. We emailed at our level, we emailed each and every teacher, and they were just overwhelmed that they were doing okay. They just needed to sort of be reassured from some of our parents So thank you for writing those. Those really uplifted our teachers. Another item I have is the Bryan Movie Theater. I was talking with Vanessa the other day, and they wanted to do something to help out. They are donating $1 from each popcorn sold through curbside pickup on Fridays from 5 to 8 and Saturdays from 3 to 7. So they wanted to help out, but it also helps a small business in our town out. The last thing I wanted to end with is our guide, and there's lots of available community.
Much of what Mrs. Cox said, same at our level. First of all, a huge thank you to the parents for working with us and our teachers. Along with the survey results, we had the opportunity to go through those as a staff and talk about those and make some tweaks. Believe it or not, we're in day 13. Today was day 13 of our remote learning processes. So the feedback that the parents provided to us was outstanding. And we thank them for working at home diligently with their students, balancing working from home and making sure their students are keeping up on schoolwork and just keeping them at a working pace that's sufficient. So thank you to the parents and our staff again. The shout outs that we received, that was very uplifting and very appreciative of the kind comments. So it'll be our day 13, or I guess our third or fourth full week of remote learning. We're having a little fun this week. We're doing a virtual Spirit Week. So hopefully you see lots of pictures of our students sending in photos of what they're doing at home. Today was social distancing photo day. They're sending in their favorite photos of how they're practicing their social distancing during this unprecedented time. Tomorrow is a photo with a pet. Wednesday, some outdoor photos. Thursday is a throwback Thursday, so I'm sure we'll see some great Bryan throwback pictures as well. And then Friday is, of course, Spirit Day. So just another opportunity to get our community and our students the ability to share and connect when they can't be with each other face to face. So some fun this week with that. We really have our seniors in our hearts this year. Our seniors are, it's a challenging time for everyone, but unfortunately they have to bear the brunt of just all of these unique circumstances. So we want to let them know that we're here for them, and we have a lot of neat things coming in regards to supporting them. And we obviously appreciate all the support coming from the community for them as well. But you're going to start seeing in the coming hours, if not coming days, some senior spotlights. It's just going to highlight the seniors. You'll see it on social media, and you'll see what their future plans are, what their most top accomplishments are, and some fun facts about them. So you get to learn about our senior graduating class here for the class of 2020. And then we have some other things planned down the road as well to help recognize them, but I'm going to keep that a secret right now. I don't want to spoil any surprises. So on the academic front, we had a big discussion. We typically give exams in the second semester. Considering the circumstances and where we're at with just education in general, we are not administering exams for this semester. Until today, when we learned that we were not coming back, it wouldn't have made sense regardless if we came back to issue exams and put that much weight and stress on the students for their grades during these times. So there are no exams. And as of right now, we're continuing to monitor this, but we are sticking with our A through F grading scale. One of our major proponents at this time is we want to continue to give students the opportunity to strive to reach the GPA that they desire. GPA holds a lot of weight when it comes to scholarship applications or college applications or class rank, or maybe trying to get that specific GPA to get into 4-County Career Center if you're an underclassman. So we want to still give them those opportunities to achieve the GPA that they desire. Even with this remote learning, our staff is very aware that these are unique circumstances, and they're very open to working with a student to make whatever needs to work for them to help them along the way. In no way, shape, or form do we want this to affect them negatively by being in these circumstances. So we'll continue to monitor that, and if we ever need to adjust that, we will down the road. But right now, that's where we stand on grading. And there's some big events down the road this spring. The biggest one standing out right now is graduation. Again, back to our seniors and giving them the recognition that they deserve. We actually, now that we have learned that school is canceled for the remainder of the year in face-to-face fashion, we are putting together a graduation task force committee. And we are going to review We have staff members on the committee, but we also have our senior class officers and student council members also on the committee. And we want to look at all of the possibilities of what's out there to make sure that we can produce the ceremony that best recognizes them and celebrates their efforts for 13 years of education. So we are going to be discussing that over the coming days and weeks, and hopeful to have some concrete direction that we'd like to move that we can propose to you and seek your approval for as well, so that our senior class and the many people who celebrate all of their successes can get something on the calendar and be ready to celebrate for them. So a lot to be determined there. There's lots of events beyond graduation with prom and awards banquets and just end of year concerts and spring musicals, and how to best, again, encompass and celebrate those students for all that they do. So a lot of information forthcoming as we enter into the month of May with the best ways to celebrate them. The one last item, and again, Mrs. Savage might talk about this, is we also will look at, as a district, the best way if students have personal items in their lockers or anything left remaining in our building from when they left us on March 13th, the best way for them to obtain that. So I'm sure, I know we will have information forthcoming on that, and Mrs. Savage will probably elaborate on that more. Any questions for myself?
No specific questions, but for all four of you, appreciate your update. It was good to hear, and I think everybody's doing a great job. So I appreciate what everybody, administration and the teacher teams have been doing for our community and our kids. So kudos to everybody for trying to make the best in the situation we're in.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Dustin. And thank you as well, administrators, for joining us tonight. I know that at least Mr. Savage, you have to go get ready to turn on lights. So I just have a few closing comments. As Mark mentioned, we did learn today from Governor DeWine's press conference that the Ohio schools will remain closed for the remainder of the school year. I sent a message out to our staff and to our parents, just asking for a little bit of patience and grace as we make those plans that many of our administrators talked about today. So we need to finalize our school lunch program through the end of the year, and we need to finalize what our remote learning looks like and make sure our families have access to curriculum. So give us a little bit of time. We heard that information at 2 o'clock as soon as you did, and just know that we are working on it, and we will continue to provide information for everyone in as many ways as possible. And so I just want to highlight a couple of those items. Starting with, I'm going to share a little graph with you. Can you, oh, it says I got an error. Let's try one more time. Okay, can you see a small graph on your screen? It's coming up, hopefully.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so this was sent to us by an outside company called Remind 101, and it just shows the amount of activity. The green is what we send out from Bryan City Schools, and the blue are the chat and the reactions that we get back. So I found it extremely interesting that we are utilizing multiple platforms of communication, and this just shows one of them that our staff and families are using to make sure that we stay in communication and engaged in our learning. So it's just amazing to see the amount of volume that has happened over the past 13 days with Remind 101. I also would like to share with you, both Mark and Karen mentioned our surveys, so I'm going to pull those up next. And I'm not going to be able to go through the entire survey with you. You should be seeing the elementary one currently. Are we good?
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. So we did send this to all of our parents at the elementary level. As you can see, we had a really good response rate from a variety of different levels. We asked them about their internet connection at home. According to the parents, they really are preferring the online activities. And therefore, as Karen mentioned, as we start moving forward, or if we have to look at some type of remote learning in August, this is something we're really taking to heart and having discussions about, especially in our IT department, about how do we get those machines and get more technology-based learning to even our K to 5 levels, because it's really what they are preferring. The amount of work that is being assigned is they feel appropriate. They feel the lessons have been appropriate. And again, kudos to our teaching staff for being in contact with families. Overall, as you can see, the majority of parents think that the teacher's response rate is appropriate. And then also want to show you the same kind of information for the Bryan Middle School, High School. So let's switch to that one real quick. And let me find it. Okay, high school wise, we had 492 responses, again, from a majority of all the grade levels. Again, we see that close to 95% of our internet activity and connection is adequate. This survey was sent not only to parents, but also to the students directly in grades 6 through 12. So we may have some double responses, but again, you can see that the students do have access to their remote learning in their classrooms. They feel the amount of work assigned is fairly appropriate. 5 was too much and 1 was not enough here in this question. They feel the lessons have been not too hard, extremely hard. And again, the teacher response rate. So we're very pleased and thankful to the feedback that this provided. And then we did give, as the principals mentioned, a chance for people to give shout outs or to give specific suggestions on how we can get better. All of this information can be found on our school website, on our school social media sites. We have a Bryan Elementary page, we have a Bryan Middle School, High School page, and for those of you who are on Twitter, we have a lot of our administrators, athletic director, coaches, principals, activity directors, VCT, who are constantly out on Twitter providing just fun facts, information. If you have not seen on Twitter, they're posting some of our art assignments that the students are doing with photography, which has been really amazing as well. So with the information we have today, we are working together and we'll be meeting to finalize all those plans regarding personal item pickup, student packets, how we end the school year remotely, how we give out our end of year awards, how we give out get our equipment back. All decisions, all of that information will be forthcoming. And then finally, for board members, I just wanted to remind you that tonight we were supposed to have a presentation by Energy Optimizers, but given this situation, we asked them to be patient with us and we'll bring them back either in May or June, hopefully when the restrictions are a little less and we can get together and have an actual presentation. So we still have that on our agenda. Other than that, any other questions? Okay, Deb, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, and just to make note, our next board meeting will be May 18th at 7 o'clock. We've stated that'll be at the Fieldhouse boardroom, but I would say stay tuned and we'll see where we are with our ability to join and be closer together. So I just would say stay tuned to that. I also see you had a Business Advisory Committee meeting coming up in June. And again, just to make note of that. So is there anything else from any of the other board members at this point? If not, I would know we need to move to an executive session. I would, for the purpose of appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of an employee. And I would accept a motion at this point.
So moved.
Thank you, Mike.
Second.
Thank you, Ben. And at this point, I do not anticipate there will be any action taken when we come out of that executive session.
And there will not be, because we will no longer be streaming and would not be appropriate. I'll now call the roll for the vote. Mike?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Deb?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Thank you.